Hey everybody, welcome to Trading Capital. I just want to start off with this video and say congratulations to all members and subscribers. It was truly a fantastic day. This is exactly what we were looking for. That inevitable oversold technical bounce, that robust, powerful bounce that sends the beaten down stocks flying, as well as big cap tech, basically everything. It's a broad market oversold rally. There's a few and far between that did not catch a bid today. Nonetheless, we closed 8 winners today, leaving some longs on the table. And I think we're well positioned to potentially carry some momentum into next week. After a bounce like this, the markets usually would consolidate, but since we're in such an oversold category, it stands to suggest that this could rocket higher on the fear of people FOMOing in, just like we saw on this robust move here. Now we have to keep in mind that interest rates are higher now than this robust bounce here, and we're that much closer to the inevitable QT, quantitative tightening. So jumping into the spiders here, they're currently up 2.3%, an amazing rally. The only concerning thing is that you did have a gap here. Inevitably, you will have to come down and fill that gap. Whether that happens next week, I don't think it's happening today. It's clearly we're going to hold these highs up here unless there's some wicked sell-off. But nonetheless, probably sometime next week, you will come down here to test this gap. That may be a potential opportunity to swing long again, as the markets are still oversold and do favor a continued bounce to the upside and recapturing this channel on a confirmation basis. But let's just say congratulations, we banked 28.56% on MicroStrategy, sold it today, basically picked it up yesterday, and then we traded it a day trade yesterday with it too, over 29%. So that's well over 50% just on MicroStrategy in 2 days. Amazing job, team. We also covered AFRM. I can actually bring up AFRM here on the chart. That's another one we've played twice. So on the daily chart, AFRM has clearly gapped up, left this massive wicked window gap here. And if we flip to the daily basis, you can see now we sold AFRM into earnings, which is probably would have been, it was too soon, definitely too soon. But I didn't want to hold it into earnings. Obviously, it would have been more favorable if you held it into earnings, but really it was kind of a gamble unless you had some inside information. With this gap up, we still netted an amazing profit on it, but now we are shorting AFRM. It's going to be a quick swing trade. I think you could potentially fall down to this lower level here. So we're actually in the money now. You can see how it's come up to our resistance level twice and it's failed. So it stands to suggest that we're going to likely retest the lower range of this channel, still keeping this bull flag pattern before we break higher. If the spiders catch a wicked momentum grip, this could certainly go higher. But the fact that AFRM now has bounced 91% in 2 days is just wicked crazy. And we had to cash out our longs, but it's still technically oversold. But these are the bounces that we wait for as we swing trade these and counter trend play these companies. The bounces do come, and when they come, they're ferocious, just like we witnessed today. And I do think we'll have some more follow through, but it's always that first initial rally day that is the most powerful for these beaten down names. With AFRM heading lower, we'll look to take profits in the 10 to 15% range. If it consolidates enough, potentially back to this 1933 area of support, I may look to swing long again, keeping a tight stop loss, but we'll have to monitor the market fundamentals. We also sold our SOFI, a beautiful over 8% gain there. We sold our net today. Let's just take a look at SOFI. SOFI clearly had a massive move up. It is putting in this bullish consolidation, but now you're at the upper range of this channel that you've been stuck in. And it's clearly a tremendous power move from the lows. When you measure that, in a couple days, it's rallied 42%, put us in the money. We take profits. If it falls below our entry level again, by these key gaps here, we'll certainly look to start accumulating them again. And that's the beautiful thing about swing trading. We just look to bank a small percentage of profit on a nice accumulated position, and we look for the next reward setup. We also sold our TWOU. Let's take a look at that one. We just recently acquired this 2 days ago at $8.60. And look at that, boom. Already at over 12% profit on that trade from 2 days ago. So congrats if you took that. We sold our Palantir today. So over the last couple days, you notice that the trend was we were accumulating all these beaten down names. And now we've unloaded many of these beaten down names, freed up a tremendous amount of cash in our portfolio again, and also taking that risk off of the table, because we are still technically in a downtrend and this market should go lower. So you got to sell into strength and take profits along the way to start building up your account from a beautiful base level. So again, on Palantir, over 8.09% profit. We could have held it a little bit higher, but again, it was one of those things where I think there are better opportunities arising, and you just got to have you got to keep the cash flowing into other better risk to reward setup trades. Let's take a look at UPST. We also sold that one today for a beautiful 14.8% profit. Lovely sell. Today UPST is up 15.4%. That's a crazy move. From the lows, UPST Upstart is now had a 50% bounce. And it's still down from the highs a crazy amount. To think that UPST was trading all the way here, you know, even with the 50% bounce, it's still down from May, so a month ago, 59%. In a month, it's still down 59%, but it just had a 50% bounce. So that's the power of integers and percentages. If you think about where it was, the high, if we flip to the daily chart, it's even more astounding. You know, you look at this. That's why these stocks can have these powerful 400. Should have been trading at 400? No. But, you know, when it does have these oversold conditions, there's still capital in the system that will chase this up. You actually tested gap window today. That's why we sold. And eventually you will fill this gap. I don't think it's going to be yet, but you do have a strong potential to get to the $50 number. That's a nice round number, and you can see that you had a lot of support in here where you kind of back tested and then gapped up higher before making a move way higher. We also shorted a day trade. Some of you probably didn't get this with me, but I still sent it out as a swing because it was a tremendous opportunity. Look at this VERU. It gapped up like 59%. And honestly, there was really no news. We shorted it up here at 14.14, and we covered it for a beautiful 7%. Could have held it a lot lower, actually. But again, I'm not looking to hold these trades. It's just quick opportunities where we can make a nice chunk of percentage and increase our cash capital. I want to go over natural gas as well. So I also decided to short more natural gas today via the UNG. We are holding the KOLD, which is inverse to the UNG, but I wanted to actually short more via the UNG, and I just wanted to have a new price target. But issued the alert at $27 today. That was the high on the day of UNG. So we nailed the exact intraday high on UNG for the short. We are in the money, and I've been telling you this for now probably 2 weeks, or maybe not 2 weeks, but potentially, yeah, probably 2 weeks actually, since we had that initial sell-off with natural gas, that we were potentially forming this. Let me just flip to the 4-hour chart so you can see it better. But we're potentially forming this head and shoulders topping formation. And one of the reasons I was discussing this head and shoulders formation when we had this bounce all the way up to the high, and then I said we would likely come crashing down, hit the support, have another bounce. The bounce won't be as robust, and then we will likely create that right shoulder, which forms the head and shoulders topping formation. And if you break the neckline, it triggers that pattern, and it's likely a 70 to 80% chance of fulfilling the downside measured move. So it looks to be that we're forming exactly this right shoulder. Now it's still too early to really say, but nonetheless it does have that rounding formation. And accompanied with the rounding formation, again, I've been discussing the importance of analyzing volume. You are having this declining volume in terms of the buy momentum. So day one on the bounce, you had this extraordinary amount of volume. Day two, it weakened. Day three, it weakened. And now day four, you're actually starting to put a red candle in. So you're starting to close down on the day. So you did have a wild swing. UNG still has a technical gap. You did fill one technical gap today, but you left another one open. Now there is a possibility that this one at the all-time highs here you don't fill until the next cycle, which could be a few years away, but I certainly think that there's a potential for natural gas to roll over sooner rather than later, and that's kind of what we're seeing here. On a daily chart of natural gas, we have this topping tailed doji here, reversal candle. So we'll see if we get any more selling pressure later on, but it looks to be that you are going to close negative, which is putting in that rounding formation to form that right shoulder. We'll just have to wait and see. We did add more to our KOLD as well. The inventories also came in higher than expected for natural gas. So roughly the markets were expecting 13 billion cubic feet in a build less than what we received. So I believe it was 93 billion cubic feet build, and it was supposed to be around 80 billion that they were expecting. I might be off by a couple billion either way, but it was roughly a build on natural gas of 13 billion cubic feet extra in the reserves. So that certainly helps our thesis in the sense that natural gas should see some pressure, some downside pressure, that reserves are building faster than the expectations. Late day, there's a little bit of sell pressure here in the spiders. I think that's certainly going to have to consolidate its moves, but we'll analyze that at a later date. I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful weekend. It's great to close a Friday with substantial profits in our pockets, less risk on the table. Always being in cash is in my opinion, the safer option, and it certainly helps going into the weekend. Nonetheless, stay tuned for more educational videos, and thank you for all for being members and subscribers. Stay tuned for more trading alerts. We'll have to monitor crypto over the weekends, and I will certainly have some more analysis videos